Welcome to Discussion Sentai Loserger. I'm Loser Blue,
And I'm Loser Yellow.
and this is a show where we talk about the newest episodes of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Today we'll be talking about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 12, and Gozyuger, episode 40. We always start with Rider, so what'd you think of episode 12 of Zeztz, Yellow?
So, Blue, remember what I was saying last week? And I'd have mud all over my face, and I'd be proud of it to say, hey, even though this is part one of a two-part episode, it was still really good. Yeah, this one was still really good.
Yeah, I liked this episode. I think I think it is somewhat indicative of some problems that Zets just has in general, which is I like the ongoing narrative, but the actual episode, like episodic stuff, is not that important, right? The case is like barely touched upon, really.
Yeah,
He like hangs out with the kid a little bit, doesn't find the mine door, and then Nox takes over the episode.
yeah, that happens. It's an issue where, despite the entire premise of the show being to stop the nightmare and investigate how to do that, they're not really investigating how to stop the nightmare, more as they're just fighting the nightmare.
Yeah, they generally just go back into the dream. There's never any like I don't know, there's never any clever setup to like how they deal with the nightmare. Most of the time they figure out what the problem is and then they just beat up the nightmare.
Yeah.
But and that's been my issue with this series is like two episode like episodic plots. They're not particularly interesting. They're there. They're a vehicle for conflict so that we can deal with the things that are actually interesting, which is what's going on with Nox and whatnot. The ongoing narrative I'm kind of interested in. There's lots of questions and we want to learn more, but the actual moment to moment has some issues.
So the little boy's the dreamer this time, right? He's got to be the dreamer.
I mean, that's what the episode would lead you to believe. And the boy does remember Baku. He
Yeah.
doesn't remember him initially, but like he picks it up as things go on. So it's definitely the boy, and I too wish a meteor would hit the Earth and kill everyone. I think that would be great.
Oh yeah, it'd be
What?
fantastic. The Great Reset. Yeah, but like, how does a little boy wanting to be I was gonna say a restaurant, an astronaut.
When I grow up, I want to be a restaurant. A restaurant.
How does a little boy wanting to grow up to be an astronaut equal? I wish like every person will die in an extinction level event.
Yeah, it's weird. The nightmares don't really make a lot of sense. I think we should maybe stop harping on it so much because we bring it up like every episode. And to be fair, this is part one of
Yeah.
the two-parter. Maybe part two will elaborate on it. So, we have more interactions between Fujimi and Asuka.
Yeah.
She's definitely like getting more and more on board with this. Like she's pretty much on board. She's like, okay, black cases are real and it's a problem. And that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad about that. And we see more of Fujimi and why he's so fanatical about the black cases. It's that his old partner disappeared because he didn't believe him about that's how he views it. He's like, I didn't believe him about the black cases, so I couldn't help him. And because of that, he disappeared. Something bad happened to him. And he
Mhm.
feels guilt over this, and that's why he's so fanatical about catching nightmares and stuff. I like it. It's a good characterization. Strong motivation. It leads to the question of what happened to Nox. Like why did he flip so hard? Because he used to be a very righteous man that wanted to save people, and now he's facilitating nightmares that are going to cause problems. What's going on?
Yeah, he said at one point to Baku at the beginning of the episode that you have no idea the horror that the capsims represent.
Yeah, well, that goes into what happens like later in the
Later.
episode where he breaks barrier, right?
Yeah, he breaks barrier.
the monster that came out didn't have barriers, big shields, so it just kind of looked like a green Zet. So I was like, wait, was that barrier or recovery?
No, it did have barriers, big shield. He blocked using the shields a couple times.
No, I did see him blocking, but I think like the actual like suit didn't have like the physical shields.
I see. I understand.
But I did see some like holographic shields during some. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's barrier. Anyway, it's barrier. So yeah, it's leading into some things about capsims. And we learned from Zero that capsims come from Baku's mind because the space in the, I don't know, the closet office is a mental space. But
Yeah.
it is also a real space because in this episode we see the sister go in while Baku is in the dream version of it. So it's not like an overlap. So it is
Mhm.
just a physical magic space that showed up in their house.
Next week, it looks like we're getting that super capsum. Zero was really mulling over it and saying Baku wasn't ready for it today.
Yeah, we might get a super one. It's not going to super form around like 13 episodes. That's pretty standard, I would say. But I am really curious with the capsum stuff because obviously early in the episode, Nox shoots barrier and we see the spirits float around it and go back in. And then later in the episode, when Baku uses barrier to block the car, it talks to him. Like it says something.
Yeah.
I thought that was just going to be like a setup, and then later in the episode, he just fully breaks it out, and like evil Zeztz shows up, right?
Yeah.
So I thought they were like hinting at something, but no, they just kind of broke it wide open at the end.
It's interesting.
Yeah, again, I don't know what to really say about it because we don't really have the whole story. Like, what are in the capsims? What's going on with that? In the episode, when Nox goes to fight it, he calls it a nightmare, and he says capsims have the power to make bad dreams real. So to me, it would feel like capsims are like they defeated the nightmares and then sealed them inside capsules, right?
Yeah.
But we never see that happen. Most of the time, pretty every time when he destroys a nightmare, it like gets absorbed into the butterfly and then just flies away. I don't know
So Blue.
what that's about.
Nightmares are Pokemon, and you collect them all. You gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. But this episode also leads to a lot of questions about code as an organization. Nox says that it's actually real.
Yeah, it exists in the real world, and Zero's gonna be evil. Zero's evil. He's gonna be an unredeemable boy.
Maybe. It's interesting, you know, so code is real and Nox knows about it. Again, maybe he used to work for them. That would make sense. He points out like if there was this big organization, why do they have a civilian doing it? Which again, the what's it called? The extinction level event is a huge consequence for failure
Yeah.
here, right?
It almost
So,
feels like the stakes are a little too high.
like the stakes are really high, which makes me think that he might fail this one, and we'll learn something about the nightmares. Like all of humanity is not actually going to die, and we'll learn something new about the nightmares and how it actually operates. You know, maybe the nightmares don't make sense to us because it's all a purposeful thing. Like Zero's been lying to us the whole time, and they
Ooh.
actually operate really differently. That would be fun because again, yeah, they feel inconsistent. So yeah, code is real. Maybe they're a really shady organization that's actually the bad guy. I don't know. It leads to
Spe-
questions, and I want to learn more about Nox.
and speaking about Nox, he transforms into what the wiki is calling Nox Knight.
Yes.
I thought it would have been like a Kamen Rider something or other, but no, it's Nox Knight for now.
Yeah, it's Nox Knight for now, which largely looks like a Silver Zets with some extra stuff. Like he has more stuff on his face.
The fights were cool. I really like the fights between Nox and Zeztz.
It was a good fight. It's a cool suit. I do like the suit, even if it is largely just a Silver Zets. We see that his gun is healed in this. It doesn't have
Yeah.
the burn mark on it, which is good. His capsum is erase, like
Yeah.
deleting something from existence. He uses it to like weirdly teleport at one point, and I don't know what that has to do with erasure, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, he disappeared and then he reappeared somewhere else.
he temporarily erased himself. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We don't need to nitpick the powers.
No, time to nitpick all of them.
No, but it's a cool suit. It was a fun fight. I like his sword gun.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it a gunblade still.
Sure.
Yeah, it's sword mode and gun mode, not caliber mode and launcher mode.
Oh no, I like that it's caliber mode and launcher mode. I like those names, especially caliber mode. But then he breaks the capsum, the barrier
Mhm.
capsum, and a green Zeztz. Well, obviously it's green because it's barrier. It's like a shadow Zeztz shows up. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
The shadow Zeztz shows up and he fights that. He calls it a nightmare and he beats it, which would make me think that barrier's just gone for now. Like we're never seeing it again.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see barrier again. I think it's just gone.
Zeztz is not allowed to have green forms. He just Nox destroyed barrier and he stole recovery.
There you go.
That's just
All,
is not allowed to be green.
whatever the green element is, it's just Nox's now.
Maybe, I don't know, because his thing seems to be white. Erase seems to be a white capsum. Secret fifth element.
White. Erasure. The absence of color.
Void.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, no, he isn't called like Kamen Rider Nox Knight. So even though he looks like a Kamen Rider, like he doesn't look any different. Maybe later they'll give him a more proper name and call him Kamen Rider something. Is Zeztz calling himself Kamen Rider Zeztz? Is he actively saying that?
I don't think anyone's called him a Kamen Rider yet.
This might be one of those series where they don't use the term, which I'm actually okay with. I kind of prefer when they don't call themselves Kamen Riders sometimes, because I don't know, it begins to feel really like this is a brand thing. Like we need to shill the brand
Yeah.
when they do it. When it almost like doesn't really matter. He barely rides the motorcycle. He does do it, obviously. He did it this episode.
He's ridden it more than a lot of other riders have.
Yeah, but it really is only to get to places. He never
Yeah.
like uses it in a particularly interesting way outside of it was like episode 2 or something that was heavily a bike episode.
Yeah, he drove down a tunnel.
It's fine. Most riders only use it to get to places. You can only do so many like bike stunts. I'm sure those are expensive and dangerous. So
Yeah.
this episode raised a lot of questions. Didn't really answer any of them. It just added more mystery, right?
Yeah.
But I would hope that next episode like conclude. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact that the sister meets Zero.
Yeah, just straight up starts talking to Zero. And it seems like Zero wasn't happy about it. It's like, oh geez, we gotta deal with this right now.
Yeah, we didn't get the scene of he goes, ah geez, Cox is gone. Baku wakes up to the bloodbath. That's when we learn that Zero's really evil.
Zero's gonna help the nightmare come true next week.
Yeah, destroy all of humanity.
There you go. Robots can live without humans.
Well, apparently he's not a robot. Again,
Oh yeah,
it's
he
stated
is.
he's remote controlling it.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that he's Agent Zero and he's just being controlled.
Yeah.
Such
Actually,
as
this episode, Zero is talking with the sister while Baku is using him in the dream as a bike, and the bike does talk to him. But I do feel like those phrases that the bike used were like they felt like more like canned dialogue, like pre-recorded, like "Where would you like to go?" kind of
yeah.
thing. I'm not sure he didn't feel like he had like a full conversation. It felt like the bike was an autopilot. I don't know if that means anything, go anywhere, or is important at all. Because really, that would be a really unimportant detail. I just kind of thought it feels like it's not Zero like
Him.
actually talking.
Yeah, because then they would have to try to explain how Baku is interacting with Zero in the dream while Minami is interacting with him in the real world.
He's just the world's best multitasker.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
He just has two microphones and he's just muting and unmuting them. so that he can have two conversations at once.
Oh, there you go. He's got Discord open in one window and Zoom open in the next.
Exactly. I believe Agent Zero can do it. He's Agent Zero.
Yeah, that means he's the best one.
Truly.
So next week, lots of meteors. Lots of meteors are coming.
Next week we actually have to deal with the nightmare. We haven't seen the nightmare. It hasn't shown up as like a monster. It's probably like the prison,
Yeah.
right? The whole prison was a monster. In this case, it's probably the meteor itself. The
Yeah.
perfectly spherical meteor.
The really big one that looks like a moon, but also isn't the moon, which is hiding behind the giant meteor following it in.
Yeah. So we had to deal with that, and more fights with Nox, and probably learning more about capsums. We got a new capsum. We'll get gravity powers, which have these big hands that I think look really silly. They're not they're like big club hands that I think look really silly.
Prediction. I think all of Zetz's base powers are getting neutralized next week.
Oh, so yeah, Nox will destroy all of his capsums except maybe Impact, just so he
Yeah.
still has a base form. And then he gets the upgrade and uses it in episode 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. If he
'Cause it
destroyed
looked
all
like
of
in the
them,
yeah.
if he destroys all of them, it would definitely lead to he'll get them back at some point. Like they'll do some bullshit and he gets them all back.
Because it looks like next week, according to the preview, Nox does something to the capsums and now they're all empty.
I mean, if all the capsules are empty, that's releasing those nightmares. Maybe they're particularly strong nightmares, and that'll lead into an arc where you gotta catch them all. He's gotta find those nightmares and reseal them. Something like that. I don't know. Not much to go off of.
No, not
This is
really.
a minor preview. Whatever. I'm interested. The plot's moving. Nox is on the field now, so all good.
Oh, yeah.
Gozyuger episode 40, the introduction of the new Sumino. What are your thoughts?
Episode 40 was also really plot heavy, and I'm glad because we're in the last fifth of the series now. It would have been weird that we weren't building up to anything at this point, and now we very obviously are building up to a lot.
Yeah.
On top of us getting the new Sumino, who I am enjoying, and there is a lot more footage of her than I thought there would have been. Stuff's going down with the Bridan.
She's there a lot more. I definitely feel like you can tell there's some scenes, or it definitely kind of feels like she's green screened in a little bit.
Maybe?
I mean, throughout the episode, there's a part where her and Ryuji are dealing with the kid, right?
Yeah.
I felt like they were just green screening them over top of the existing footage of maybe Maya and Ryuji. I don't know. During the transformation, it felt like she was slightly off from everyone else. I don't know. That could
Oh,
be me just trying to pick it out, right?
Yeah, I think realistically that's what you might be trying to do.
Yeah, would I have noticed it if I didn't know didn't know about this? Is the question. And am I just inventing stuff? It doesn't really matter. She's fine. She did a good job. It's the actress that played Oni's sister in Dawn Brothers, and they make a few jokes about that, obviously. They even play the big yo that plays in Dawn Brothers a lot at the beginning when they go yo unicorn. And they make a joke about, how Ryuji is dressed as the Oni. At the beginning they do the Oni horns. And it's just a fun little thing. I will say she feels a lot more, I don't know, energetic and silly compared to how I maybe would have guessed.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like Sumino.
It felt a lot goofier and more energetic, and that's fine. Again, this actress did a really good job as Oni's sister. I really liked her in Dawn Brothers. It does feel slightly off. She's acting. It feels a little differently.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
It's fine. We'll get used to it. I think the reason for it is a little stupid, obviously.
It's all Tegasword's fault.
It's just, damn it, Tegasword.
He's on medical leave, so he can't fix it. Can't change her back. She was just investigating a case.
Yeah, that's why she wasn't there for the last few episodes, except for the fact that she showed up for the fights. So
Yeah.
none of that makes any sense. It's fine. It's a dumb excuse to get past a troubled development thing. We can forgive it because what else are they gonna do? It was that or not acknowledge it at all, which would
Right.
also be weird. But okay, the actual episode itself.
Yeah, a Halloween episode at the end of November.
Yeah, it feels like this should have been a month ago, and maybe it was intended to be, but production stuff caused problems.
Now, hear me out. What if it actually was? Because from what I'm hearing, the footage they used for episode 38 with Kuon was filmed on the actor's birthday, which happened in like August.
Yeah, no, things have been filmed like pretty far ahead, so things got mixed up. Luckily, they never mention Halloween,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't feel like that bad. It's just let's do a haunted house episode. I don't know how big Halloween is in Japan. I don't think it is like
No,
particularly
it's not
big.
very big over there, right? It's been getting bigger in recent years, but it's never really been a thing.
It feels weird to us because Halloween is a much bigger thing here, so it's just like you're doing the spooky episode like a month later, but in Japan this is probably fine. They probably don't even blink twice about it.
Yeah. But hey, we got the landlady and the child as a yokai,
Yay!
and the whole town is affected.
Yeah, it's a big AoE on this no one. It's fine. The no one was fine. Honestly, most of the haunted house stuff was just kind of there.
Yeah,
I wasn't like it wasn't the best of the episodic plots.
I wasn't. Yeah.
I do really like the joke of R.E.D being like terrified of ghosts and stuff. I've seen this a few times where like the tough, cool loner guy is just absolutely terrified of like ghosts and like generic spooky stuff, and it's always funny.
I like the design of the no one,
Yeah, no, it's a cool design.
and then he had like the little puppet on his hand,
Yeah, to add some goofiness to it.
which is the real brain of the no one. It wasn't the main body; it was the puppet. We got old man Kinjiro again, doing his best in the haunted house.
The most terrifying thing I could possibly imagine. An old man. God. Yeah, no. These jokes were fine. I enjoyed them. I would say the real meat of this episode was obviously Rikyo and Bouquet and what was going on with them. And the main thing in this episode is just that Rikyo kills Ribbon,
Yeah.
which felt really fast. Like, she just wasn't around for long, and she dies pretty unceremoniously, in a
Yeah.
sense. Like, obviously, it's given a lot of gravitas, like, when she's dying and Bouquet is trying to, like, heal her. But there wasn't anything particularly special or interesting about this episode that would make you think that a character was going to die,
Yeah.
right? This felt just like a normal battle that they do all the time, that the Bridan always get away from. But this time, Ribbon died so that it could be Rico who killed her. So that Bouquet can learn it and get really, really mad.
Which really is a shame because I have liked the dynamic between the both of them. Like it's cute.
Yeah. I mean, it was always funny that, she's obsessed with him and was completely unaware that he was one of her enemies. And this would naturally lead into a conflict like this, where they learn about each other and the fighting that they've done conflicts with the out of suit stuff that they've done. So that's fine. I'm interested to see where that actually goes. I would say I'm worried that it will resolve like too fast, but there aren't that many episodes left. So
Yeah.
it kind of has to resolve kind of fast.
It's kind of the issue at this point. 9
I mean,
episodes left at most. We still don't know who the real big bad is. I still think it's Kuon. But how do they resolve Bouquet and Rikuo now? Because that just ain't gonna fly, that he murdered Ribbon in cold blood.
Well, I wouldn't call it cold blood. They were in a fight.
Yeah, but
And Ribbon was destroying the city.
oh, let's be real here. Tega's sword destroyed just as much of the city as Ribbon.
No. Ribbon purposely did a giant AoE attack to set like the whole city on fire. Unless you're talking about over the course of the whole series, in which case maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I do think the Ribbon thing. She dies a little too fast, and honestly, it never felt like we got enough of her like kind of dual personality, where like she's pretending to be like a really sweet good girl, but she's actually really nasty.
Hmm.
Like we got that, but it never felt like she ever used it a lot in a way that like screwed over Bouquet, right?
Yeah.
Because when she dies, she's like, "I was tricking you the whole time. Why do you care so much?" But like, it never felt like she was tricking Bouquet that much, you know?
Yeah.
So the whole thing just felt rushed. And again, that could be a production thing, just because they had to cut a lot of stuff out. Obviously, whatever that clip show episode was going to be an episode where Ribbon was the antagonist,
Yeah.
like pretty heavily. So cutting that maybe really hurt. But it is a bit of an issue. Gozyuger likes to introduce things that could be interesting and then resolves them like way too quickly. After, also simultaneously after building them up for a while. When Ryuji left, it was resolved within like 3 episodes. When we actually were dealing with Ray and the Calamity, it was resolved really fast.
Yeah.
Right? They introduced something interesting and then they just ended it. And then they went back to doing silly episodic stuff. And again, I enjoy these episodic plots. I think they are fun, but still, like, come on. And then this one, Ribbon was introduced. Okay, we got a new Bridan. They're kind of nasty, but pretend to be sweet. They were caused by an error. Like, Tegajun errored out when making Ribbon, and that's why she's monstrous. What's
Mhm.
that's all about? And then she just dies. In, like, a random plot about haunted houses. Nothing to do with Ribbon, really. Now, obviously, this will lead into the interesting thing of the conflict between Bouquet and Rikuo. So I hope that'll be good. And the idea of Tegajun glitching out could still be explained later. Like,
Of
right?
course.
Something could happen and Tegajun would be like, of course, this is why Ribbon came out wrong. When she learns that something has been corrupting her systems or something like that. It seems like next episode, Tegajun's going to show up.
Yeah.
In an actual suit to, I don't know, do a big fight or something.
We've only seen her like twice, so.
Yeah.
One to give birth and get married, and the other one to job.
Yeah. They need to start like leading into the finale a little bit. Set up better things for it. This Bouquet Rikuo thing, that's a good starting setup. Because that creates like real conflict between the Bridan and the Gozyugers.
Yeah.
Their conflict has always felt really flaccid, right? Like they're opposed to each other, but only barely.
And next week, it seems like we're getting the final no one. The last no one is going to appear.
Wait, why?
The preview said that the last no one is going to show up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
the
missed that.
creation no one.
Okay, I didn't hear that it was the last one.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. Because it looks like we have Tegajun plot next week, Final No One plot next week, and Bouquet plot next week. Very Bridan focused. As it should be. Toei, don't let Gozyuger go out like a wet fart. Don't let
Yeah,
Sentai go down like this.
yeah, we'll see. Again, I hope they lead into something interesting. Last no one means that they then can maybe start doing some Calamity stuff. Or ramp up the Bridan. Maybe Kuon can do something cool. We'll see. I mean, that's all I have for this episode. I thought I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to some of the developments that it created. So I guess the only thing left to talk about a little bit is Project Red.
Yo, Project Red?
That has now been announced. It was announced like 2 hours after we finished recording last week's or something.
Yep, it certainly was.
So it's just like, oh, thanks. Thanks, Toei, for screwing us over in particular. Project Red seems to be the replacement for Sentai, starting with Gavon.
Yeah.
The only thing that I worry about with that title is my biggest issue in a lot of Sentai series is hyper red focus, and it's called Project Red.
Well, it's because Sentai's all about the red. Haven't you been watching this series that we're watching right now?
Yeah, but it's like one of my biggest problems with Sentai is when they hyper focus on the red.
More red, more red, more red.
Now, to be fair, in Project Red, if it's like a solo hero, right? If it's not
Yeah.
a team, then it's fine. Although I think locking yourself into having the hero always be colored red is a bit iffy. Kamen Rider is fun and has like a variety of colors for its main character, but
Yeah.
it could just be a name. Maybe they won't go that hard. We've seen like a little teaser that just shows a bunch of like special effects that look like attacks and like a dark shot of Gavon's helmet. So it looks cool. I'll definitely watch it. It's going in the Sentai time slot, so it'll probably just be what we talk about.
Yeah, it'll join Kamen Rider Zeztz come January on the Discussion Sentai Loserger YouTube channel.
So I mean that's pretty much all we know about Project Red. So
Yeah, we don't know much.
okay, well I think that's all. So
Yep.
anyway, thanks for watching this week's episode of Discussion Sentai Loserger. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'd love that. I've been Loser Blue.
And I've been Loser Yellow.
Bye.